when, I'm going to say we, because we're roughly in the same academic generation, but when we came of age in academia, most of the topical choices were, let's just say, serious and unironic, right? So there,
to put it mildly.
there is a serious side or a intentional genius side of modernism that got studied and something that you recapitulated on oral exams and so forth. But then to encounter this material, I think of a line in Howl where the speaker, let's just say Ginsberg and his friends, throw potato salad at a lecturer on Dada at CCNY, thus playing on the irony I mean to ask you about, which is you're lecturing on Dada in a tiered classroom and people are getting graded? No. So how does academia accommodate something like this? Not well, I guess.
Well, now it's ancient history in a way. So, history is the back door to the appearance of anything on a curriculum. And so now the challenge in a way, and this is part of the challenge that I faced writing this book, is how to write about Dada as a lived experience on the part of its original participants. And that's one reason why it takes a kind of biographical form. I mean, the book is really a congestion of biographies in some sense. And one of the challenges of writing the book was not to overpopulate it with people. There are a limited number of Dadaists, but they still are well over 100. And it would have been just a completely delectable experience to write a big book that included biographies of all 100 plus Dadaists. But I didn't have the stamina for that, and the reading public has even less stamina than I do, I think. So the challenge is how to bring a sense of lived experience to something that just goes down very easily once it becomes received historical opinion, as it were. And it amazes me how much both appetite, because I've been going around talking a lot about Dada this year, and it amazes me how much appetite people have to hear about Dada. But on the other hand, it's countered by how much people presume they know. And so I found that when I've talked to people after all these talks that I've been giving, that people always come up with a kind of a store of ready anecdotes that they believe to be true that have become a kind of like international folklore about Dada and have played this role.
One of those?
I mean, they range from things like Marcel Duchamp invented Dada. Well, everything that is now part of Dada history that is related to Duchamp happened before Duchamp or anybody in New York had ever heard of Dada, which was underway in Zurich. And there are precise dates when documents, magazines, and things like that were mailed, when the mail got there, and when word of this came out. So, there's just a lot of kind of straightforward, nuts and bolts, traceable history about the way in which this spread. But, of course, one of the marvelous things about writing about Dada or thinking about Dada is that it was in some ways a kind of a worldwide contagion that didn't need to have the authority of its founding moment and its founding members behind it, and that's something that they welcomed. Mm-hmm. And that's why the Dadaists always insisted that all the Dadaists are presidents of Dada, and they would list in the various journals that they had not only all the people who were Dadaists, but even the people that they knew about who had attended Dada events or had attempted to suppress Dada events, and list them as presidents also. So that, it's a very contagious kind of outlook, I think, that they had.
Jed, I adore you totally, but I think you dodged my question a little.
Well, you want me to talk about academia?
Well, I guess what I want to say is this: let's leave literary history, literary theory, and literary criticism as it's practiced in the academy aside for a second, and let's go to teaching. So, you said in the dodgy answer to my question, well, after a while it becomes literary history, and so it gets absorbed like anything else. But let's just leave that aside. Let's just say that you try as a teacher to convey the, sorry for the phrase, spirit of Dada clearly Ginsberg was right when he said if someone's going to lecture on it, that's probably the wrong mode. So let's throw potato salad, which is a Dada action in reaction to the stupid pedagogy of lecturing about Dada. Okay, so now we know a bad example. What's a good one? How do you teach Dada in the spirit of Dada? Is Dada not containable by a classroom, by a curriculum, by something that for which you pay tuition? It just seems like an impossible thing to contain.
Well, probably the most straightforward answer I can offer to that is that I don't teach Dada.
You did it again. You dodged it again. Is this some kind of Dada? This is a Dada performance. Don't answer any of Al's questions.
Well, I'll come up with other questions.
Oh, that's so funny. You don't teach Dada.
No, I don't. I mean, I have made reference to Dada in classes that I do.
You wrote a
but,
fucking book about it. You don't.
This is one of the odd aspects of my career, and I have almost never taught anything that I have ever written about or published anything about. So my academic career is entirely anomalous with respect to normative behavior.
That's a brilliant answer.